Welcome to a special edition of ABC Action News, taking action for you. I'm Jackie Callaway. I've spent the last year reading your emails, listening to your calls for help with everything from simple problems to life and death matters. In my 20 years of taking action for you, our viewers, I've never seen so many in need of help as we did this year. Retirees.
I'm homeless.
Scammed widows.
I felt pretty awful.
Single mothers reaching out with nowhere to go.
I've had panic attacks a few nights.
Some hit rock bottom. That's where we found a Tampa woman after the car she was living in broke down. It left her with no way to stay warm, get to work, or visit her baby daughter. She made a call for action. It turned her life around in a single day.
More baby stuff. And basically this is all my clean clothes.
We met Tia Harris in a Tampa parking lot.
This is covers.
It's where she's lived in her car since last summer. How do you work this out? How do you sleep?
I just let this back like this. Wait, it's this one. All the way back. And then I have a neck pillow and I put my neck pillow.
Are you able to sleep like that?
Sometimes.
And there's no getting warm on cold nights since the Honda's heating and cooling system died.
And that's why I got 3 blankets.
Tia, her infant daughter, and 2 teenagers moved from Colorado to Tampa in June. This single mom found a full-time job, but it wasn't enough to pay rent, and the family wound up living in the car.
I've had panic attacks a few nights, because I'm just like overwhelmed with thoughts.
Tia sent her oldest children to stay with her dad in Chicago and placed 1-year-old Donna in a children's shelter.
Sometimes it just feel bad to not have her with me. Give me some.
Daily FaceTime calls with her baby gives Tia the strength to make it through most days. Tia made a call for action after a second used car she bought for work and visits to her child broke down. The car stranded you?
Yeah, in the middle of the street, literally like while I was driving.
After hearing Tia's story, I contacted Susan Jacobs, who heads up the nonprofit Wheels of Success.
It's just heartbreaking that there are so many people living in their cars, and a lot of time the reason is because they bought a car that was a piece of junk.
Here's the tow truck.
Wheels of Success sometimes donates vehicles to families in need who qualify, but they wanted to see if Tia's Honda could be repaired.
We know that she's got 2 broken down cars. One of them has to be fixable, okay? We're gonna look at both of them, see which is the better car to fix.
It made me feel good, like it's some hope somewhere, I'm just tired at this point.
Tia is a diabetic. Sleeping sitting up leaves her legs swollen, and she has no way to safely store her insulin.
Oh, the water got in there again.
So there was no way we were going to leave her to sleep one more night in a cramped vehicle. I'm trying to get her a bed to sleep in. Our first call went to Metropolitan Ministries, and they responded quickly. The nonprofit determined Tia qualified for shelter. So excited she's got shelter. And hours later, put her up in a hotel room. It's good to see you. Can we come in? Hi, pretty girl. A week later, I checked on Tia and found she'd been reunited with Donna.
There you go.
She says it's the first time in months she's been able to sleep in a real bed.
I thank you for all your help that you've given me, because I haven't gotten this much help since I've been here.
Metropolitan Ministries and Wheels of Success say they've never had so many calls from people living in cars or facing homelessness. These agencies are overwhelmed and they need help. We've posted their info at abcactionnews.com. Turning next to another housing story that really resonated with our viewers. A Pasco County retiree lost her home and nearly everything in it after falling for a foreclosure rescue pitch and signing over the deed to her house. The sheriff's office opened an investigation after I started asking questions.
Oh, God.
Someone else's vehicles are parked in Elvira Zakari's driveway.
Those are my possessions in their truck.
And she told the court strangers now live in her home.
So sad. So sad.
The 75-year-old bought the Newport Richey property in 2019 and planned to stay forever.
I loved it. I mean, it was the only home that I ever bought on my own.
Forever came in just 4 years After Elvira fell behind on her mortgage and HOA dues, the Homeowners Association threatened to foreclose, but she didn't lose her home to the lender or the HOA.
I got a call or text.
In this lawsuit, Elvira alleges David Litt fraudulently obtained the deed to her home after claiming he would work with her bank and HOA to save her house from foreclosure.
He just reached out to me like he was my best friend. You know, we're going to help you.
Elvira says in her suit that Litt told her he worked with the government. She just needed to sign some documents.
He said, but can I send somebody to your house up north? And I said, yeah, I guess so.
At the time, the 75-year-old was in New York caring for her daughter who had undergone surgery. A notary arrived with papers for her to sign. The lawsuit states Litt told her they were to warranty the condition of her home.
And I was in such a hurry because of my daughter just getting home from the hospital. I didn't even read it.
Elvira signed a warranty deed transferring ownership of her home to Litt's company, a mistake that cost her nearly everything.
I'm homeless.
Then David Litt sold the home and everything in it to a real estate investor who rented out the place.
I'm sick to my stomach. I don't know what to do. These are personal papers. What's in here? Oh, salt and pepper shaker. Oh, wow.
Elvira found family pictures and personal papers, but none of her clothes.
I don't see any shoes. I wish I did have shoes in here.
We see people lose the title to the property all the time through these deed transactions.
Real estate attorney Stephen Hatchie represents Elvira in the lawsuit.
She didn't understand that she was foregoing her legal interest in the property by signing this document.
I emailed David Litt a copy of the lawsuit and caught up with him by phone. Hey, Mr. Litt. Litt refused to answer my questions. Okay, sir. Well, then can you tell me your side of the story? I just got hung up on. He's not answering. Meanwhile, Elvira is stuck living in her friend's guest bedroom while the court case moves forward. And there's no guarantee she will win.
How anybody could be that cruel, I don't understand it.
Still to come, a Polk County woman says a routine ride to the doctor's office turned terrifying. How I stepped in to get her medical transport driver off the job. What should have been a routine ride to the doctor's office turned terrifying for a Polk County woman after the driver started speeding. At one point, he was racing down the road at nearly 100 miles per hour. She made a call for action. I found out this out-of-control driver was a convicted felon. Disabled and unable to drive, Tammy Lenz relies on a medical transport service to get her to and from weekly appointments.
911, what's your emergency?
But on December 28th, Tammy says the driver grew enraged after she got into the backseat of a car sent by Safe Choice Transport for a ride to the doctor.
So there's a disturbance going on I-4 near mile marker 33.
Minutes into the trip, Tammy told the I-team the man behind the wheel started speeding and driving erratically.
He was going really fast. He was passing people on curves.
How fast? An app on Tammy's phone clocked the sedan doing 79 in a 50-mile-an-hour zone, then hitting nearly 100 miles an hour on I-4.
I knew I was in trouble then.
You were scared?
Yeah, very scared. I said, I'd like to get there safely. Can you please slow down a little bit? And it was like he snapped.
Tammy's friend, who was also in the back seat, called 911.
Ma'am, is it road rage?
Yes. Yeah, he's just, yes.
I actually thought about taking the seatbelt off and bailing if it got worse. I figured that was a better option than dying in a car crash.
The 911 call captured the driver yelling at the women as they were getting out of the car after it stopped at this Lakeland shopping center.
You hear him hollering at us?
Ma'am, I just need to know what you're wearing.
The police is coming for you, right? Hello? Do you hear him?
Paramedics arrived and sent her to the ER after checking her blood pressure. Tammy made a call for action after she says Safe Choice Transport ignored her complaints.
I mean, there has to be some kind of regulation. They shouldn't be able to drive that way.
Her story took another turn after the I-team confirmed the man in the driver's seat is a convicted felon. He served time in prison for separate convictions for fraud and battery. And he's been cited in Hillsborough, Pasco, and Polk counties for more than a dozen traffic violations that included speeding, running red lights, and driving with a suspended or revoked license. My name's Jackie Callaway. I'm with ABC Action News in Tampa. I emailed and called Safe Choice Transport's Tampa office, but they did not respond. Then I contacted Motive Care, the company that contracted Safe Choice for Tammy's rides. You can see Motive Care's answers to our questions right here. We wanted to know if the driver still works for the company. He does not. What about that background check? Motive Care says their transportation providers are required to background check drivers, but that wasn't done in this case. Then I asked what's being done to ensure this doesn't happen again. Motive Care says Safe Choice has been placed on a corrective action plan.
We should have medical care. That's a right, you know. You shouldn't have to worry about how you're going to get there safely.
One recurring theme this year, car thefts. 2023 marked a spike in the number of thieves driving off with Kia and Hyundai vehicles, despite a security fix of the software making these cars and SUVs more difficult to steal. I met a St. Pete driver who didn't know her SUV was a target until it was too late. St. Pete police showed up at Michelle Austin's condo in April with bad news.
So I opened the door and he was like, "We have your registration." And I said, "Excuse me?"
The officer informed Michelle thieves stole her 2021 Kia SUV in the middle of the night.
I'm like, "No, the car is outside." He goes, "Where?" I went outside, looked, the car was gone.
Michelle says police told her 2 juveniles broke into the steering column and took off on a joyride. It ended when they crashed into a fence in this Pinellas Park neighborhood. You can see one of the suspects running away from the scene.
It was just in disbelief.
Kia and Hyundai scrambled to contain thefts across the U.S. after a TikTok video exposing a security flaw and over 8 million vehicles went viral.
The key port where you place your key was also popped off.
Earlier this year, the manufacturers unveiled a software security fix.
They supposedly conducted similar to a recall by notifying owners about the software update.
But Associated Press data shows thieves are still driving off with these vehicles in record numbers. And federal regulators say the stolen cars account for at least 14 crashes and 8 deaths. For Michael Brooks with the Center for Auto Safety, Kia and Hyundai's fix falls short.
They've had the software fix out for a few months now, and we're continuing to see just rashes of theft spread from city to city.
In Michelle's case, Kia did not mail her notice of the remedy until after the SUV was stolen.
I think that they should reach out and help people faster.
Michelle's Kia Seltos remains in the body shop, and insurance money for a rental has run out, leaving her stranded. How stressful has this been?
Very stressful. It's awful because I don't understand. I'm just wanting to go to work, make a living.
Earlier this year, Hyundai and Kia settled a class action lawsuit over the thefts. It will mean payouts to consumers who incurred theft-related losses. Still ahead, a Pinellas County veteran dies of service-related injuries. Yet his wife says the VA is delaying her widow's pension. That is, until I stepped in. Welcome back. An update now on a criminal case involving the owner of what was one of the largest custom pool builders in the state. Investigators arrested James Staten in August following a 2-year I-team investigation into Olympus Pools. State prosecutors say he stole $1.5 million from his customers in 2020 and 2021 and used that money to fund a lavish lifestyle. A judge has yet to set a trial date. The I-team found that he took money from 400 homeowners in Pasco County for pools he never finished. Earlier this year, we introduced you to a veteran's widow who lost her life savings to a fraudster. Her story took another turn when the VA kept this Palm Harbor resident waiting months for her survivor's benefits. I took action for her and went straight to the VA. For months, Kristen Hochel hoped the check was in the mail.
There's nobody in there right now.
She applied for survivor benefits in February after her husband of 31 years, retired Marine Captain Richard Hochel, who served at Camp Lejeune, died of service-connected cancer.
He was an expert marksman.
According to the VA, the surviving spouse of a veteran who died from a service-related injury may be able to get monetary benefits.
I could send in forms and they'd say, okay, we still need this. So I'd send in their forms, we still need this. So I sent them everything I had.
By July 1st, Kristen was still waiting on the VA to process her claim.
It was never denied, but they said it will just take time.
But time was running out. In March, an online fraudster hacked his way into Kristen's checking account and stole Richard's life insurance money. How much money did they take out of your bank?
Actually, $70,000.
Leaving her with nothing more than Social Security to live on.
I felt pretty awful that they had stolen his insurance money. That was what I had to survive with.
I emailed the VA and asked them to review Kristen's claim for survivors' compensation. They responded in this email stating, "Thank you for passing along this information. I will have a subject matter expert review available information in VA systems." 4 weeks later,
I finally got something.
2 checks totaling $15,000 arrived in the mail. It was a 5-figure payday.
Yeah, I was amazed.
In this letter to Kristen, the VA confirmed her eligibility dating back to November, the month her husband died.
The lovely amount that I got helped so much with the things that I lost.
The VA says it takes 94 days to process a disability claim, and other claims take longer. If you or anyone you know is waiting on a VA claim, we've posted their helpline number on our website. Coming up, a Florida family bound for Europe, seated and ready for takeoff, is booted from the plane without knowing why. Welcome back. We know it's a busy travel season, and this past year, we fielded a lot of complaints about the travel industry struggling to keep up with post-pandemic demand, whether it was nightmares in the skies or trouble with rental cars. Passengers reported plenty of problems this year. Take one couple whose Turo ride got repoed while they were asleep in their hotel room. We started asking questions, and Turo quickly refunded all of their money and compensated them for lost belongings. And we heard plenty of cruise mishaps, including a Pinellas County couple whose entire itinerary changed just days before departure. The husband needed special accommodations at every stop. But after we contacted Holland America, the company returned all of their money in the form of a cruise credit so they can rebook their dream trip. But there was no other travel story that went viral like this one. 2 couples were about to go on a bucket list trip planned months in advance. They were on the plane ready to go. And then without warning and without explanation, United Airlines kicked all of them off the flight just before takeoff.
When's dinner?
Retired school teachers Wendy and Rob Meehan booked a bucket list tour of Europe last year.
When we were going to do our river cruise, we were going to start in Amsterdam.
Boarding passes show the Meehans and Wendy's 80-year-old dad, William Winger, and mom, Donna, all set to fly United from Tampa to Chicago on March 23rd. Then it was on to Amsterdam via Lufthansa.
We checked our luggage, got our boarding passes, went through security.
The family boarded the plane in Tampa. United even bumped Wendy's parents, who are frequent United flyers, to first class. What happened next came as a shock.
And then this gentleman came on and he said to my parents, "I need your passports."
Seconds later, the Meehans say another United employee approached their group.
"You need to get off the plane." And we're like, "We need to get off the plane." And he's like, you need to, and we're like, "Why do we need to get off the plane?"
"Sir, you need to get off the plane." Those were the exact words.
And so we got off because we were afraid that, if we didn't comply, we'd be arrested.
United staff escorted the foursome back to the gate, but the family tells us none of the United agents would explain why, other than to say there was a problem with their tickets.
Finally, we got the answer: you need to talk to your travel agent.
Wendy used wholesaleflights.com to book her round-trip tickets, but it was Lufthansa that charged her card more than $3,700. So what went wrong? I asked United why they booted Wendy, Rob, and Wendy's parents. The airline said in this email the Winger family used a travel agency that was restricted from selling United tickets, and that the agency received several unauthorized sell messages to alert them of the issue on the itinerary. I reached out to wholesaleflights.com, but did not receive a response.
We felt like criminals, and it was humiliating.
Remember, United told me the Meehan's third-party online travel agent was not authorized to sell United tickets, but Wendy's credit card shows she used that same site to rebook United out of Tampa the next day. I asked the carrier how that was possible, and here's the airline's written response. We don't have any further information to share. The family's March 24th flight took off without incident. Wendy and her family missed the tour of Amsterdam and lost $500 in non-refundable plane tickets to Portugal. She expected United to make them whole.
The only thing I got from United a couple of weeks ago was that they would offer us $150.
The voucher came with a brief apology for the family's inconvenience.
This is insanity. That's what you would offer me after everything you put us through.
I contacted the U.S. Department of Transportation. The agency says it will review the complaint and contact the carrier. Safe travels this holiday season, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this special edition of ABC Action News. It is a privilege for me to be able to take action for you. In 2023, we've recovered over $175,000 for our viewers. So if you're dealing with a stubborn consumer problem, I'm just an email away. Jackie at abcactionnews.com. We'll see you next time. Take care.